Bennie Jennings is our next Lion legend, a member of the UNA football program from 1987 to 1990, an All-American in 1990. He was a member of UNA's Team of the Decade for 1989 to 1998. Also a member of the UNA 50th anniversary football team after finishing his career with 61 catches for 980 yards. Bennie Jennings, thank you for being our next Lion legend.
Thank you for having me.
As we like to start most all of these interviews out, the University of North Alabama, your time playing football here, what does this place mean to you?
Oh, that place means everything to me as a young kid growing up in Fayetteville, Tennessee. Just growing up on the farm, being able to get out and have a way out. It provided opportunity for me to set a path for the rest of my life.
Let's jump into your career and let's go back to Fayetteville, Tennessee, Lincoln High School. What were the high school athletic days like for you?
We had a rich tradition there at Lincoln County High School. In my 3 years of high school, of course, in Lincoln County back in those days, we only had sophomore, junior, seniors. So in my 3 years in high school, I think we lost maybe 5 games, which included a state championship in 1982, and then we had a real rich tradition, great program there.
And for you, you mentioned playing college football way out. When did playing at the college level become something you realized you could do?
About my sophomore year in high school, I had a coach, like a father to us, John Meadows, who coached us at the time. Would always tell us, come to me and tell me that I was special. And, you don't believe that until somebody you really respect and you love tells you that. And that's where it developed there and by Coach Meadows.
Fayetteville, not too far from Florence, Alabama. The North Alabama football program, what kind of reputation did it have as they began recruiting you?
Didn't know anything about North Alabama. Well, I'll backtrack a little bit. Didn't know anything about the schools in the area. The one school that I always grew up knowing about was Alabama A&M, the HBCUs, A&M, and then TSU here in Nashville. One of my former teammates, Randy Trenum, I think at the time was playing down there, and when I realized I wasn't going to go to college and of my choice and play basketball, I started thinking more about football, and then talking to Randy, and of course my coach, John Meadows, he played at Jacksonville State. So we went to Jacksonville State, and then we went to North Alabama and got to hang out with Randy. And on our trip down there, I just fell in love with it, and I thought that I knew that's where I wanted to go.
Wayne Grubb was the head coach at UNA when you arrived as a freshman in 1987. Take us back to what campus was like when you first stepped foot on it.
Heels and steps. I think that was the biggest thing when I first got there, and you had to walk everywhere. Of course, the coaches that recruited me when I got while I was in high school, and then when I arrived on campus, all the assistant coaches had gone, so moved on. So Coach Grubb was the main one the coach that was still there. So we had a great time under Coach Grubb, and we learned a lot of things, and we just kept progressing.
First year for you playing as a freshman. Take us back to what that year was like in '87.
Oh, that year was it was tough. It was you grow up real quick. And for UNA at the time, we were a Division II school, but the athletes that we had, man, they could have played at some of the Division I schools around the country, and it was always tough competition. And that's something I remember is all the athletes that practice against every day, and it was just tough, but it was great. If you was a competitor, you were in the right place.
A coaching change after your freshman season. Bobby Wallace takes over in 1988. When Coach Wallace first started taking over the program, take us back to what sort of changes you started to see.
um, well, first off was the discipline. Coach Wallace came in and basically shut everything down, and then uh, along with Coach Harris, Bob Harris, who's the linebackers coach, um, they came in and that off-season program was horrible. And after, that was probably the best thing for us at that time. But once we completed that off-season program, we knew that we could do anything, and we knew that Coach Wallace was the right one for the job, and we were destined to be champions at some point.
Your sophomore year was definitely a breakout season, a first team All-Goal South Conference pick, also the team offensive MVP. For you, freshman to sophomore year, what started to sort of click for you?
I think I got the weight room. Coach Wallace's off-season program and the training program. We got in there and bulked up, got bigger, faster, and just got stronger. And just the knowledge of the game, that all our coaches was younger. I mean, there weren't no more than 8 to 10 years older than us. So, everybody was hungry. So just the knowledge of the game. And then when you put those physical attributes together, man, it spun up.
Now, from sophomore to junior season, your junior year, you moved to the defensive side of the football. So as a sophomore, you're an all-conference tight end. What was it like making a position change year 3?
It was really nothing because in high school, I had gone both ways. I had played outside linebacker and linebacker, and then tight end and receiver. So when Coach Wallace them came to me with the idea of going over to the defense to help the defense out, it was never a second thought. It was something. When you believe in somebody and you trust them, know that what they're talking about, you're going to do it. And when he came to me and asked, hey, yes, sir, let's go. Of course, I'm a competitor, so, it was all about competing. And I was thrilled to do it.
Was it a tough adjustment for you going from running routes to now trying to stop the guy with the ball?
It wasn't. Like I said, I had played that position in high school as well. So, there was no tough adjustment. Just getting used to them blockers coming down on your knees. I think that was the biggest things. But as far as adjustment, no, it just felt at home. And when you're a competitor, it just, anything you do and when you're competing, it just feels right.
6-5 that season in Coach Wallace's second season. The program starting to progress towards that run in the 90s. What was the feeling amongst the players about the success you guys were about to have?
We knew we was going to be great. We knew that they were recruiting people that were going to come in and contribute right away. And we knew that the athletes that we had on campus that, we just knew in our mind that we were capable of winning. And we just saw that it was going to be great. And no matter what, we just kept on pushing. I think that in '88 is the year we went 2-8. And that was a tough season, especially when you're come off a high school team and you're used to winning just about all the games. So that was the one thing I remember about us that season. We never gave up. Even though we were 2-8, we stuck together and we gave up. We gave it our all.
1990 was really a big breakout year for the program. First, you guys made it back to the NCAA playoffs. We'll touch on that in just a second. But you moved back to the offensive side of the football where you were an All-American at tight end. Again, changing positions. What were the conversations like?
I think if I can remember correct, I know Coach Wallace and Randy Campbell, who was our offensive coordinator at the time, just came back to me and said, hey, we think it's your senior season if you want to play tight end or defense or both. And, of course, I just want to be on the field at 100% of the time. So it didn't matter where I was playing. But the one reason I came to UNA with Coach Grubb is because he gave me the opportunity to play tight end. I always wanted to play on the offensive side of the ball, and the majority of the other school were recruiting me as defense. So, of course, I'm offensive player for life, so I guess that's how it goes. And when they gave me the opportunity, well, yeah, as long as it didn't hurt the team, um, whatever I could do for the team is what I was about.
29 receptions, 456 yards, 4 touchdowns in your All-American campaign. UNA would make the playoff run. But for you, any big catches or moments that stand out?
Always against Alabama A&M. I remember catching one over the middle right before the half. And I think we were getting beat. I remember catching it over the middle right before the half, and then just getting pummeled. I mean, and knocking the breath out of me and laying out there. I'm trying to breathe. And I always remember Coach Long coming out telling me to get up. You'll be all right. Of course, that's what I remember him saying.
There's always a good Johnny Long story with every Lion Legend interview that we do. Now, from the team perspective, you've talked about first couple years, not a lot of success. Now in 1990, getting back to the playoffs for the first time since 1985 for the program. For this group of players, just what was the feeling like as you look back now at that success?
It was the start of something great. When I came into UNA as a freshman, it was 1985. So I was on the scout team during the national championship run that year. And then I was redshirted. And then I was hurt in 86, so I couldn't play in 86. So, just being part of a Gulf South Conference championship team and to go to the national championship game and that's something every player looks forward to going to or trying to get back to. And we knew that we were destined for greatness, especially the team and UNA and Coach Wallace and them, after that, when we got to the playoffs, we saw the type of talent that he was recruiting. I mean, he was recruiting D1 guys, and that was hard to do back in those days for somebody to come to a Division II school. So we were all in. That's what I remember, being all in. So everybody on the team, when they brought these recruits in, we spent time with them, made sure we showed them the city, the university, and what type of atmosphere it was. And so we knew it was destined for greatness.
Let's talk about some of those teammates that you played with. Troy Nelson, James Davis, both in the Hall of Fame here at North Alabama. I know you played with a ton of other great guys, but what do you remember about some of the practices and experiences with players like that?
Well, Troy Nelson, just remember as a freshman when he come in and him returning kicks in practice. And everybody's just standing over there with their mouth open going, okay, I think we got something really good here. And just to see him play the smoothness that he played with, it just made it great. James Davis, of course, man, for him to be so little, he was one of the hardest hitting guys I've ever been around in my life. And matter of fact, he hit me. I still remember one day he hit me in practice, and we almost got in a fight. I told him he hit me too hard, but man, hey, with those guys, you knew that we were on a straight path, and we were going to win because we had guys that just wanted to compete no matter what the situation was. We were going to compete.
Now, football for you did not end after your playing days at North Alabama. Not selected in the NFL draft that next year, but you signed a free agent contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ray Perkins was the head coach at that time. Take us through what that NFL experience was like for you.
That experience was great for me. It taught me the difference between NFL and college. It doesn't matter what college you go to or what high school you play at. The one difference is speed. You had guys that are just huge, 300 pounds running 4.6 and 4.7 40s, and linebackers, defensive linemen. Everybody was just unbelievable fast. And that was a great time in my life. It made me grow up a lot. And of course, I had great people to talk to because we had a lot of athletes from UNA that were in the pros. Um, so, and we always networked and stayed together. So that was a great experience for me.
You also had some experience in the World League of American Football, playing with the Sacramento Surge. Your year playing for the Surge, what was that year like?
That was great too. The travel, you get to meet different people, other athletes that played all over the country, different universities. Uh, that was a great experience as well. Just I remember going to play different places I'd never been before, and that was exciting. The competition was tough. Sacramento was great for me. Loved it. But just somehow I couldn't overcome injuries. I kept getting injured.
So take us through, you wrap up playing football, and then what was next for you?
When I got through playing football, I moved back to my hometown, Fayetteville, Tennessee, and uh, went into finance there. Of course, I have a degree in marketing, and went into finance at a car dealership there, Howard Bentley dealership there in Lincoln County. Stayed there for about 2 years, and then for some reason I got in law enforcement. Well, I'll never forget, my dad's best friend was growing up was chief of police at the time, and Thomas Barnes, and he asked me if I was interested, and I was, and I went to see what it was about, and here I am 28 years later, still in law enforcement.
A 28-year career that's still going on, and I know you've done a lot and accomplished a lot. Take us through some of the high points of your career in law enforcement.
The high points is being able to help people, help our community. You just and being out in the community, helping the younger kids try and succeed what they want to do. They see you and they know I can do that one day. And it's been a great ride. I've been with the Tennessee Highway Patrol for 23 years now. So deciding to leave home, and I've been just about all over the state of Tennessee, currently located in Nashville. But it's just been a great opportunity. It's provided for my family, and been able to do things that we never thought we would be able to do.
And currently, what can you tell us about what you're doing for the Tennessee Highway Patrol?
I'm a lieutenant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I'm over the Region 3, the Nashville area criminal interdiction, not interdiction, but criminal. I went blank, but I'm over the criminal investigation division here in the Region 3, which is Nashville, Lawrenceburg districts of Tennessee. And we investigate auto theft and identity theft, fraud, any type of fraud of that nature.
So let's jump back into athletics. And athletics success did not stop with you. Your children have had a lot of success playing college sports as well. And let's talk about some of their accomplishments. And let's start with your daughter, Alexis Jennings. 2 years at Kentucky, 2 years at South Carolina. She made the NCAA tournament all 4 seasons, an Elite 8 run with South Carolina, an all SEC pick, and all SEC freshman as well. For you, what was it like watching her college basketball journey?
That is watching my kids play. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Just being able to be there, knowing the things that when growing up that you teach them and groom them for, but you let them know it's their choice. They can achieve whatever they want to achieve. Those were some great times traveling to Lexington and then south to Charleston. It was great. Spent a lot of time on the road, but you know what? It was well worth it. And then I'm really happy for him.
And your son Juwan has had a lot of success on the football field. He played at Tennessee for 5 seasons, finished his career for the Vols 5th all-time in school history for receptions, 4th in receiving yards. He's tied for 5th in career touchdown receptions. Watching his success at the college level, what was it like seeing your son play on Saturdays?
And just to have a son to play football was great. Of course, being from Tennessee, grew up a Tennessee fan. So I think the biggest thing was I didn't want to put pressure on him to go to Tennessee. He could choose wherever he wanted to go. And in the end, he chose the Vols. To see him go up there is just thrilling. There really are no words to describe him going to Tennessee, having the type of career he had. And but I knew that all three of my kids were going to be special, you know, because just the drive they had, and um, it was just an awesome feeling to sit back and watch him. You know, in his 4 years, I missed one game, and unfortunately, because I had to work, but it was the best game of his career against South Carolina. But I got to see it on TV. But you know, it's just amazing to sit back and watch them achieve things, their goals, and set goals and achieve them, and to do what they want to do.
Let's talk about the 2020 NFL Draft. Juwan was drafted in the 7th round by the San Francisco 49ers. The draft day experience, hearing your son's name called in the NFL Draft, what was that moment like?
You know, I think we were just quiet, you know, just elated, just overjoyed for him. The one thing about the one thing about us is that we're so competitive, and you know, and we're congratulating him, and then after he gets after it settles down a little bit, and I just look at him and I said, the 49ers, because I grew up a Cowboys fan. And he does not like the Cowboys. Well, he didn't grow up a Cowboys fan, so we're always back and forth. So, you know, just the competitive nature. Even when we're not playing sports, we're just so competitive. You know, we're always giving it to one another. But it's been a great ride, man, and it's exciting to see him achieve his goals.
We talked about your run through the NFL, now seeing your son experiencing it. What's it been like sharing that with him?
I think that has been a very important part, because there were some things that I learned in the NFL that guided me in teaching him or telling him, just giving him advice. There was things he was going to have to do, things to be prepared for, to expect, and it seems like he was listening. Even sometimes you want to think your kids don't listen to you. They are listening. So, because he's done everything that I've suggested, or, you know, or given him information about. So it's just an awesome feeling. It really is.
Bennie, this has been great talking with you and catching up. As we've looked back at your career at North Alabama, is there anything that we've missed, or anything you want to close with?
Oh, you know, over those times, there's so much. It's hard to cover everything. I think we've covered just about everything uh, that I can remember. I just like to thank you all for having me participate in this. We love UNA, and that's one thing. While the kids were in school, I didn't get to attend a lot of games. So definitely in the future, we'll be coming back down to watch a lot of games and be there to support our Lions.
Bennie, we look forward to seeing you once again, and thank you for being our Lion legend.
Thank you, sir.